Hello again to another Agakiller reaction. Today we have another date night. Yay! And it's in Eric's interest, so.
Yeah, gaming's awesome. We are watching Why It's So Hard to Find a Game You Actually Like by... I'm not playing that.
Yeah, I'm not playing a lot of things, so. Should be my name.
Nice.
When I was young, my parents would take me to Blockbuster to rent a video game. Renting a video game. I feel like that term is almost alien to a lot of young people today. But back in the mid-90s to early 2000s, you'd walk into Blockbuster, pick any game you want off the shelf, and rent it for 6 to 7 days. 3 days for newer titles, and this to me was considered fun. I'd sometimes rent the same N64 game every weekend. Games like Fighting Force 64, Destruction Derby 64, GoldenEye, The Ocarina of Time, all of these games come to mind. I'd bring the game home, play it over the weekend, bring it back the following week, and just repeat the same thing the following weekend. I didn't even have a way to save my game. I was a kid. When I was little, I didn't care about saved games or progress or anything like that. I just liked picking up a game and playing it. It sounds monotonous and repetitive, and my god it was, but I love doing that. I even remember saving up my allowance money for weeks just to buy the monthly PlayStation magazine. They always had these demo discs that were included at the back of it. I would bring those discs home and play those demos over and over and over again because I love trying new games and getting lost in these worlds. It sounds crazy to me now, but back then, I loved it. Fast forward to today, and I feel like it's such a struggle to find a game to get into. You think with things like Steam, with a massive library of games at your fingertips?
Because there's so much out there.
Yeah,
you know?
it's easy access to it.
Yeah, easy access to games. Gaming is a lot cheaper today than it was back in the 90s.
Yeah, but if you kind of think about it, the prices haven't really changed that much.
No, inflation.
Not even with the inflation, it didn't change that much. No. How much did you pay for like a new game in the 90s?
Probably like $50 was the most. But there was Fantasy Star 4, which was new for $80, and that was insane.
How much are the new games now? Usually they're $70 now, isn't it?
For the standard edition, now they have a full version.
I know that, but basically I'm saying that the games haven't really got that expensive compared to the years ago. If you know what I mean. Like.
Well, actually, if you wanted arcade ports of the Neo Geo and a home console, those games were $200 a piece.
Well, that's expensive back then.
Yeah, you get the PC version for what, $5? Mm-hmm. But back in the 90s, they were $200.
Were you renting games as well?
Yes, and they were $5 for 3 days at Hollywood Video. Whereas, Game Pass, that's just for one game. Game Pass, you get 100 plus games for $17 a month.
Oh, talking about now, yeah.
Yeah, so Game Pass is pretty much renting any subscription service.
It's true. You don't own those games, isn't it?
No, but then you get a discount if you want to buy it later. And yeah, I mean, it's just so much cheaper today, and there's so much more variety. And it's not just a Nintendo or a Sega. You can just choose pretty much everything. Yeah. On your phone, because smartphones weren't a thing back then.
Computers, anyone had a mobile phone.
Yeah, computers were still... They were out there, but not everybody had a computer. So.
And the games weren't made for computers back then. Not in like late 80s, beginning of 90s anyway. As far as I know.
We had a Gauntlet on a Tandy 1000.
Yeah, but that's one.
And then like some kind of...
How many games did you have for consoles?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's my point.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's reaction video. I want you to talk.
Services that offer you extremely deep discounted game bundles like Humble Bundle or Fanatical, it would make it easier to find games to enjoy. But even with all these great services,
no, it's I
still find myself struggling to find a game that intrigues me.
Humble Bundle is a really good deal.
But why is this?
That choice.
Is it that games today just aren't the same as they were 20 years ago? Can it simply be that I've gotten older and I've grown out of that exciting phase of gaming? Or perhaps it's something else altogether. Well, with this video, I hope to find the root of that problem. Let's start with the most obvious of these. It's not me, it's video games that's changed theory. There's no denying that just 25 years ago, it was a much more simple time for video games. There was no season passes, no pre-order bonuses, no microtransactions. You paid a price and you got a full game. That was it. On top of that, games back then were just made differently. I mean, they were made by people who actually had a passion for making video games and who were fueled with creativity. Today, most AAA games are made by corporations. Corporations that care less about innovation and trying something new, and more about their profits and how much money they can make by doing as little work as possible. That's not to say that there's no passionate people in the industry, but companies like EA and Ubisoft have somewhat created a formula for making a video game. I like to call it the playing it safe formula, a formula that's been proved and tested before, that's almost guaranteed to generate revenue, yet lacks no innovation and brings nothing new to the table. This may not 100% be a bad thing.
Sports game every year.
Same thing.
You gotta be a really big sports fan to buy it every year.
Yeah, I could never understand that either. Yeah. I remember I played some FIFA stuff in 90s, but that was just so boring for me. I played that was back in the time when I actually played football.
Yeah.
Back at school and stuff like that.
I think the only difference is the roster.
Oh, because of the changing the names of the actual players?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if those players getting paid for that.
I'm sure they are.
Or their names, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe a new arena, but then you're paying like what, $80 for the new game, and a week later it's down to $1.99.
Yeah.
So, nope.
But it definitely goes to show that video games today are made with a lot of other things in mind. That's why you see so many game companies starting to have season passes now. Because developers are trying to make all of their yearly revenue off of one IP instead of multiple. Once they catch success with a good one, they just milk it for as long as they possibly can. And
is it seriously?
That's really
is it that seriously all that?
I don't know.
Wow. Like
online, an editor.
I haven't played GTA in like 25 years at least.
Yeah.
I didn't. I heard about GTA 5 and all that, but
I bought a DLC once, which was a level for Resident Evil 5, I think, and it took me 30 minutes to finish it.
Is that just DLCs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure this is just like a cheap DLC.
So everything says online on it, so it's like
it's supposed to be good. Good for online, but I never played it.
I'm thinking it's not 25 years. It's 25 years. I guess 2001 when I played GTA last time. Now there was GTA and then there was GTA London, and I have this song in my head. Like whenever I kind of hear there's a similar song. I don't know if that was the same song that was actually a real song. Because the thing is as well, back then I wouldn't like if there would be song in the game. That doesn't mean that I knew that song from like Polish that was actually played in Poland, you know. So and that was the London one was happening I think in 70s supposedly, yeah. So the music was from 70s as well. So a lot of the songs from the game were not known in Poland. So there's one that I still don't know, but just there's the one something that is very similar to it. And every time I hear that tune, I think about the GTA London. And playing it for hours. I didn't play that many games back then, but it's just like. You know, I play a lot of weird things, like Carmageddon was one of those. Back then there was GTA, Carmageddon, Sims, and there was a lot of like, let's say when we had the Pegasus, there were lots of games that I don't even know the names. So it's like, there's one that was just like you were going on like a little thing, and you couldn't go left or right, you have to go either back or forward, and then there was like those little like monsters or something were coming, and they would just like kill you if they touch you, so you had to like destroy the path in front of you, and then you stood on top of them, and then that path would just regenerate itself, and that's how you killed the thing. This is the game I was playing.
I don't know what
yeah,
game
I know.
that is.
I have no idea what the game was called. I have so many memories of playing different games and stuff like that, and then I don't even know the freaking name of it, except some on the computer, because that was like when we got the computer and started having some games, that was totally different. But then we had like 1 or 2 games at once. So yeah, so it would be, and you know how I am with the games. If I'm getting into a game, I'm just playing that over and over again. This is why I'm not playing games anymore, because I'll be just not having time for anything else.
Yeah, I understand that.
Import, export, bikers.
On top of that, let's not forget that early access is also a thing. Could you imagine if 20 years ago someone told you that for a price you could play an incomplete game? People would laugh you out of the room. Sure, there are plenty of great early access games out there on the market, but how many early access titles exist that have just been sitting in limbo for years after they've already collected money from the customer? So have video game companies changed for the worse over the years? In some ways, they have. You could definitely say that video game companies, for the most part, have shifted their focus from creating great iconic games to focusing more on increasing revenue streams, but it's also important to consider the evolution of video games as a whole as well. When video games first appeared on the scene, they were simple and primitive by today's standards. They were played on rudimentary devices like the Atari 2600 or the Commodore 64, and they often involved simple gameplay mechanics like shooting at enemies or avoiding obstacles. These games were fun in their own way, but they were also limited by the technology of the time. As the years went by, technology advanced and video games became more complex, more sophisticated. With the advent of 3D graphics and more powerful hardware, developers were able to create games that were more immersive and realistic. But with this complexity came a lot of challenges for developers. They had to balance the desire to push the boundaries of what was possible with the need to keep the gameplay accessible but yet also enjoyable. With all these new innovations and new technologies also came new problems. Games that were made just 25 years ago didn't have the same complexity of the games that we have today. Today, games are held to a much higher standard than they used to. We no longer judge a game based off of just gameplay or how fun it is anymore. We scrutinize games for their graphics, their sound design, their storyline and writing, their acting, even how glitchy or buggy the game is. Couple all of this with the fact that game companies have tight budgets and holiday deadlines to maximize sales, and it's no surprise that we have unfinished, buggy day one releases.
Woo!
But perhaps...
I mean, maybe it is us as well, because it's like if you think about it, we are changing constantly. It's not like we're not changing over those years, decades, and stuff like that. You see? It didn't work. So, it's a nice strawberry, by the way. So, yeah. Do you think you changed the way how you play games over the years? How you feel about them and how do you...
Yeah, because I play a game, I play for... Like, if I throw on Sonic the Hedgehog, I'll play with one person. When I die, I just turn it off. See how far I can get with one life. Yeah, okay. It's like, because I was kind of the high score era. So where you play games to get the highest score, be competitive. So I play games to where you just, okay, you get the highest score, awesome. Play with one life, awesome. Like old games. I played it for decades. But when I subscribe to Game Pass, I treat it more as demos. Do I want to buy this game later? Because I don't have the time to invest a month in playing games nonstop. If I was a student, maybe, or I just go to school, come home, but I'd be studying. If I didn't have a job, let's say I got laid off and you worked, I subscribe to Game Pass, play games for a month straight. So yeah, I'm looking for a job, babe. Completed 3 games in the meantime.
Nice to hear that.
Yeah.
I'll probably do the same thing.
I'm becoming a professional streamer.
Yeah, those are plans.
It is us that are changing, and not our games. As we get older, our interests change. We have more responsibilities, more commitments. As a kid, my biggest problem was trying to finish my homework, and my biggest commitment was showing up for that raid in World of Warcraft after school. Today, I hardly have the time to enjoy the things I loved doing every single day as a kid. These days, when I finally find the time to sit down and play a game, I almost feel overwhelmed. A huge open-world 80-plus hour game seems almost like a burden. A daunting task that's scary to even start. Do I find the motivation to begin this endeavor? Or do I simply just jump into a quick online game with my friends? Because, after all, I don't know the next time we're all going to be free to play together. And as I get older, I find myself slipping further and further down that path. The kid in me wants to play long, story-rich RPG adventure games, but the adult in me is telling me, no. I just don't feel like doing that right now. I only have an hour of free time, so I might as well make it something quick. I'm sure we've all been guilty of this before, at least one time or another.
You do.
But sometimes I find myself browsing
Damn.
Steam.
I'm like, I haven't played Cyberpunk in a few years because I know that I just want to play like for hours and hours, and I just don't have that time. The same like with Witcher, like when I was really into it, like that one Saturday I remember, 14 hours straight. 14 hours straight playing Witcher. This is how I play games. I get into it and I just non-fucking stop. And I have other things to do right now, so I can't really just go into gaming like that. Even Fortnite just went away for me. Just like that. I lost interest. As long as the Save the World was there, I was still kind of interested into it. But then I reached a certain level. There's no updates. There was no updates whatsoever. There's nothing interesting was happening. Just do this type of missions over and over and over. And that's just boring. I just eventually stopped. And then even the battle royale got kind of repetitive. Even with the new maps and stuff like that, it's still just getting repetitive.
I found their OG mode more fun.
Yeah.
Because it's just
you were
basic.
saying, but I think it's the fact as well that was just the beginning. And this is the moment when we had the most fun with that game.
Yes.
So it's like, when they start changing all those maps, it's kind of nice because obviously it's getting slightly more interesting, but with time, with all those years that they were actually had those, changing all those, like in the beginning they had 10 weeks of one season? Or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were changing, and then there was another season, and then there was a map change after 10 of those, and then they start making it shorter and shorter and shorter, so they're changing maps over and over, and basically I don't know, I don't even miss playing Fortnite anymore.
Yeah.
I spent thousands of hours on it.
I spent thousands of dollars on it. Not that much.
I hope not.
No, not that much. But quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's my most expensive game.
For free.
For free. Yeah.
You just spend a lot of money on the skins and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing about me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was just grinding to get the V-Bucks and save the world if I wanted to buy something or do the challenges and stuff. He just spends money on it.
Yeah. The easy way out, pay somebody here.
I just paid the initial battle pass and then for the save the world. Although I did on both platforms, so like still extra, but and then obviously there was they eventually did the cross-platform, so that took away a bit of time for me to need to play as well because I combined the two accounts. So
that's true.
That was cool. Yeah, you didn't never do that,
no.
did you? No. Yeah, but it's just like he says. It's just there's no time. We're adults now. There's other things. Yeah, no.
Adults now.
We are.
We're in our mid-40s. Now we're adults.
Well, yeah, but we are adults, but we're still kind of like kids. We don't have our own kids, so we don't have to really. The only people who have to take care of is ourselves.
Barely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Eric is just looking around because the mess around here is just unbelievable, and that's have to be gone.
We'll get to it eventually.
We have 3 weeks. 3 weeks and Mom is coming, so.
See, we fear the mother. Mom's coming.
Yeah, Mom is
Time
coming.
to
Time to clean. The best thing is Mom is watching those videos.
Yeah. Or as I said, hey, she can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Adding games to my list of games to play more than actually playing the games that are on my list. I'm even guilty of this with Netflix. I'll browse Netflix's catalog more than watching anything on the platform. So it comes down to this. Do I have enough time to play the games I want to play? Am I getting older and my interests in games are changing? Are video games getting worse? Are video games getting better?
I think it's all
honestly
together.
There's a lot of questions here, but what it boils down to is this. I think everything can be true at once. Am I getting old? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean I can't still enjoy new video games when they come out. Video games will always have a special place in my heart. Nostalgia aside, video games give me a source of entertainment. And they distracted me from times of depression in my mundane life. Yes, video games today face new problems that didn't exist 20 years ago. And yes, there does seem to be a general sense of laziness and stagnation from the video game developers today. But on the other hand, you could also argue that video games and the video game industry as a whole is better than it ever has been. When I think about where we first started to where we are now, it truly is a milestone, despite the negatives, and I can't help but think about the future of gaming
That's a game.
and where it possibly can go next. thanks for watching, guys. That is the video. I
last
hope you
one.
guys liked it.
The
Please
last
leave a
one.
comment down below.
Oh.
Please like, please subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing about growing up with video games. Are we getting older? Are video games changing? Is it a mix of everything? I'd really like to know your guys' comments on that and see if there's other insight in there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
So, yeah. We're actually talking a lot about it. Do you have anything to add?
No,
What you think? Is it a mix of everything or is it just one certain thing?
definitely a mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's never one thing.
No. Definitely getting older.
Every day, every day.
Come on!
That's what I drink. 26 grams of protein, 60 milligrams caffeine.
You just noticed it now?
Yeah.
Well, this is coffee one. Did you get coffee one?
No, but I gotta try it. Because they're low on sugar, so it's good. And
well, you should
it lasts the day. Whereas my colleagues either use caffeine or sugar for their energy, and they get tired. But then they also vape, so I don't vape. So they kind of get sluggish midday and the rest of the
I
day.
think vaping does actually stuff to you, bro.
So they have sugar and they vape. I have protein. Oh, I just started the protein. I used to have a lot of caffeine to get my energy. And I used to freaking annoy the crap out of customers and colleagues. Hey, John, how's your day? Huh? What you have for dinner? Huh? What are you doing today? Huh? What do you have to work? Huh? And then she's like, shut the fuck up.
Sounds like a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Then I have protein. I don't have my caffeine effect. I can work hard and be calm.
Well, just sounds interesting. Reaction for both of us. So,
That's it. Yeah.
Well, so, adding just about stuff about protein and coffee.
Oh, of course, I gotta try this protein coffee. That
All
sounds
right.
good.
Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.